on the team. I'm definitely down with that. But specifically, I don't think you can argue with, for the most part, who's on these teams. I mean, John Morant selected. There's no doubt that he's an all-star.
Right.
Damian Lillard, nobody can argue about that. Shea
Dame's
Gilgeous
there.
Alexander, maybe you could make an argument that.
I mean, but he's having a hell of a year,
is.
Scott.
I mean, you can make the case for De'Aaron over Shea, but you could also make the case for Shea over De'Aaron. Like, I don't think there's any controversy.
And you could throw Ant-Man in that three.
And he did not get in either.
You could throw Ant-Man in that three because they all are in that same little that same little pocket.
Yes, I agree with all that. Lauri Markkanen's had a great season. I think he is deserving of being on that team. There's no doubt about it. But of course, the one that sticks out
is JJ.
Jared Jackson. How did he make the All-Star team? Where did that come from? I was shocked when I heard that name. Now, Memphis is second. The Kings are third. They're one game behind. Okay.
Right.
But did they feel like they had to get two Grizzlies on the team? I mean, there's only one Nugget on the team.
You know why? You know why, Scott? He's another big.
Yeah.
Because they're full of guards.
That's true.
They're full of guards, and he's a big.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, if you look at the overall scheme of things, it's like, how do you take JJ off and you have all these other guards to bring on another guard?
Okay, and that's the explanation. And I somewhat understand that. But if you were just choosing the 12 most deserving players, there's no way that Jaren Jackson should be on there before De'Aaron Fox.
No, not at all. I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
I mean, he shouldn't be on in front of none of the three that we just named.
I agree. And it is a shame. It really is a shame. The way that De'Aaron has played, certainly deserving of it. The team is winning, everything aligned, and it just didn't work out. Not to say that potentially he still couldn't be on the team based on what happened. We know that Luka got hurt. He's not playing tonight. His heel, we don't know what that means in terms of a couple of weeks down the road, but to the point, we don't know necessarily if everybody will show up on the team.
I mean, and you don't know what's going to happen all the way up until All-Star game, because, I mean, you don't wish anything on anybody, but guys have been going down left and right.
Yep.
So there might be another route for De'Aaron to get there. It seems very shy, but, at the end of the day, I honestly felt like no matter what he did, he wasn't going to make it because of the guards that's already in front of him that has made it before.
Yep. And of course, Paul George also on that Western Conference team, and you could certainly make a great case for him as well. All right, Eastern Conference. Let's break this one down. I don't think there's as much.
Can I say this though, Scott?
Oh, of course you can.
This is the one thing that really irks me though. When you talk about a player like Paul George.
Yep.
Paul George, they let Paul George go either way. You know what I'm saying? They let Paul go as a guard.
Yep.
Or if the guards are tight, they'll slide Paul.
All of a sudden, he's a forward.
All of a sudden, he's a forward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that really irks me with a player like Paul George. It's like, okay, is he a guard? Is he a forward? And then, it's almost like, well, we're going to put him wherever we have room, but he's going to be on there.
Yeah. And should the selections be positionless? 12 best players, period.
All-Star game, yes. Yes, because
does it matter?
The game really doesn't matter as far as who wins, who loses, because it's all for the fans. It's all for the show. So I honestly think that the ones who are most deserving should be there.
I totally agree with that. All right, Eastern Conference. Again, DeRozan gets it. Jaylen Brown, that was a no-brainer. Adebayo, certainly a good. Embiid, of course. Drew Holiday, he's been great. And Julius Randle's been great too. I think some people thought that Jalen Brunson might make it, but I mean, there's no controversy there by any means. And then Tyrese gets on, which was great for him.
You know what? Great for Tyrese Halliburton because he's having a hell of a year too.
He is, and even with the time he's missed, he still was voted in
for what he's doing down there in Indiana. I'm happy, man. I'm always root for that kid, man, because he was a great guy.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, we'll get to see him tonight as the Kings are in Indiana, and we'll see how much he plays tonight. Second of a back-to-back for the Pacers after they lost a tough one at the buzzer last night to the Lakers. But and speaking of De'Aaron, of course, we know that De'Aaron will not play tonight for the Kings, so that'll be an interesting challenge for Sacramento. Fourth game he'll miss.
Personal
reasons.
That makes it tough.
Makes it tougher, no doubt.
That makes it tough. So, but another test for the Kings. We played games without Sabonis.
Sure.
Was able to, figure out some things. And now that De'Aaron's going to be sitting down for whatever reason, you'll still be able to see what life is like without De'Aaron for a game.
Yep. And we'll see Davian at the point, and he'll get extended minutes tonight. Of course, the Kings coming in 2-1 on the road trip, winning in San Antonio on Wednesday, 119-109. The Kings are 8 games above 500 again, 29-21. They're 1 game in the loss column back of Memphis for second in the Western Conference, and they're 13-10 on the road.
All those numbers you just rambled off, it makes it even that much harder to say why this man did not make the All-Star game. I mean, you look at the leap that this team has made from the beginning of the season until now. I mean, you can almost make a case for 3 All-Stars off the Sacramento Kings team just upon what they have done as a team.
Certainly last night or on Wednesday night, Malik Monk played almost like an all-star as well. He's been really good off the bench for Sacramento. He kind of went through a little bit of a lull on an 82-game schedule. Everybody's going to do that. But 22 points, 5 assists, 3 steals. He was very, very active. And, of course, Sabonis had his season high of 34. And De'Aaron, all he did was 31 points, 10 assists.
And be very Herculean in that fourth quarter.
As he always is.
Scott, as we talk about it more and more, man.
You're getting madder and madder. You're getting a little more upset. I can feel it.
It just, it just rubs you the wrong way, man, because when you look at what he does in the fourth quarter, it's only a handful of players that can take over a basketball game, single-handedly take over a basketball game and just will his team to win. And a guy like that deserves to be there.
No doubt. You could make a case he's the best closer in the league.
I mean, fourth quarter score, fourth quarter clutch player.
Yep.
He's there, bro. I mean, oof.
Yeah, no, he deserves to be in Salt Lake City, no doubt about it. And I really thought he was going to be there too.
I did too. And especially after the way he played that last game. If it was any question about De'Aaron Fox being on the bubble, yes or no, after that last game, I'm like, man, the performance this dude to put on out
that
here.
That was the closing act.
Yeah. He has to be there. But
and to your point, if it were at Anthony Edwards, I would feel bad still. I wouldn't feel as bad, but the thing that, and again, I don't want to pick on Jaren Jackson because I think he's a terrific player.
No, but it's about
what he's doing this year.
What has he done this year? I'm with you on that, Scott. But the crazy thing about the NBA, and we know this, a lot of times these awards and these accolades to make it to the All-Star game and MVP and Rookie of the Year and all these other things, sometimes it don't come down to your performance on the floor or your numbers. It just comes down to a popularity vote.
Yep.
Because, the 1 year that Zion came out, we knew he was going to be Rookie of the Year no matter what he did.
Yep.
He could have fell down, didn't play the whole year because he was the popular vote.
Sure. And, of course, Zion is on the team voted in, but whether he plays or not, we'll see because he hasn't played for a while. And the Pelicans have lost 10 straight now. So they are struggling mightily without him. Of course, the Pacers have been struggling mightily without Therese. They do have him back today. He did play last night as well. Kings and Pacers. All right, game night's underway here, and we've got a lot more to talk about. Of course, we'll break down the matchup tonight. It's Domas back in Indiana for the first time. What kind of reaction will he get? What kind of game will he put up tonight? There's all of that going on. The Kyrie wanting a trade. We're going to break that down. And, there was a little incident in the league last night as well, of course, with Dylan Brooks and Donovan Mitchell. We'll talk about that as well. A lot to get to in the next 45 minutes. You can join us as well at 1-800-920-1140. Join us in the chat. We'll be in the YouTube chat during the breaks as well, breaking some more stuff down. This is Game Night right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
All righty. We are clear. But we're still live on YouTube, of course. Oh. Can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Just switch over to audition.
Can I leave it in audition long term?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then you can chime in with this as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run downstairs and get my phone. I left it in my office. I'll be right back. But yeah, if you want to throw out topics or questions or whatever,
Yeah.
that's what we've
Let,
been doing.
let me see that shirt, man.
Here you go.
I like that. That's clean. Where'd you get it from?
It was from Etsy. It was a local artist made it.
Yeah, that's hot. I was going to say that's not in the team store, huh?
No. Some local artist made it. I found it online. It looks really cool.
Yeah, that's cold.
They made the design and then they put it on shirts.
Dude, they can sell them. And
I think it's great.
bro, and would clean up here.
I think so, man.
Yeah, but those-
he's only sold like 20 of them. Like look like.
Yo.
Yes, but
Yo, that would clean up.
I agree with you. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, just so you know, my T-shirt, you can pause and go back real quick, but that's what Henry was talking about. It's a Light the Beam shirt. Check out City of Beams on Etsy. They've also got a Twitter account if you want to check it out. It's really cool. I got a shirt from them. Would recommend that you guys check that out. Here, I'll stand in the camera real quick while I talk so that you guys can see the shirt that we're talking about here. Just zoom in on my T-shirt. It's really cool.
Can you imagine Tyrese looking over at the Aaron now? Hey, I'm an all-star bitch. Wait.
Oh. We're going live. Henry was talking about my T-shirt, but the people on YouTube were trying to see it.
So we ready to go?
We got about 30 seconds.
They're trying to see what?
No, I just the people on YouTube could hear you talking about my shirt.
Oh.
There we go. People on YouTube could hear you talking about my shirt.
We'll do YouTube next break.
15 seconds out.
Now I can't hear the station.
Yeah. It'll come back on in a sec.
Welcome back into game night right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with the high flyer Henry Turner. So much going on today in the league with the Kings. Big matchup in Indiana today, much anticipated. And we'll get into that, of course, but during the break, and we'll get into the YouTube during the breaks as well. But people asking about Kyle's Light the Beam shirt.
Hey, that
great.
shirt
Sweet.
is sick.
It is
That
sweet.
shirt is sick. I'm trying to figure out how I can get one.
Kyle, how'd you get that?
So you can go to Etsy.com and look up City of Beams. He's a local artist who made this shirt. You can check that out. Oh, just realized I wasn't going over the air. There we go. You guys, this is
We love your Light the Beam shirt. We'll leave it at that. You look great.
Yes, it's excellent. Cityofbeams.com, and there's a Twitter account. It's a local artist.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. If you want to join the program, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us again at 916-339-1140 or join the chat as well, and we can do that. All right. Tonight, obviously, Domas back for the first time. What do you think? What kind of response is he going to get?
I don't know, because you know why, Scott? I don't know the Indiana Pacers fans. I mean, I know Sacramento Kings fans, and I know how they feel about their beloved Kings. Old, new, ones have went on to do different things. But I have no idea how they're going to really, receive Domas, I would think.
I think it'd be applause, right?
I would think.
Played great for them.
I mean, for what he did, I would think, yeah, they would definitely applaud him, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting. You never know. And as we know in Sacramento, sometimes we thought former players might get better ovations and didn't. And we're talking about Sacramento. So
yeah, because we've had some players to come through here and our fans booed them.
Didn't feel all the love.
No, didn't feel no love.
No. Well, we'll see about that. How about Sabonis's motivation tonight? First time back in Indiana.
Oh, he's going to be on an all-time high. But we talked about this before, Scott. I mean, that could be, a blessing and a curse, all in the same bucket, because Sabonis has been playing so well. But when you go back to your old team, your old home, you definitely want to give something extra because you want to win. I don't care what type of player you are. I don't care how good of a guy you are. It's just one of those personal things to where you always want to show your old team that, hey, first of all, I've moved on.
Yep.
Number 2, I'm bigger and I'm better. Number 3, I'm about to show you what you gave up.
Yep. This is what you don't have anymore.
Right.
Obviously, that's all part of the mix. And we see it time and time again. Players have their best games against their former teams, especially on the road where they were from.
Well, they have some of their best games against their old teams. But then again, some of them have some of their worst games against their old teams because they're coming out trying to do too much too early, and they get outside of their game instead of just playing their game.
No question. Now, we saw Tyrese back here. It was a lighter night stat-wise for him. He was one a point away from a double-double. He was 9 and 10 in that game. How about, and when we talk about this, we almost just forget about Buddy Hield altogether, which seems unfair, right? Because it's not like Buddy Hield is a nothing NBA player. I mean, this guy's averaging 17 points. We know he can shoot the 3, all of that stuff. He missed at the buzzer last night against the Lakers. But, I mean, he's part of the mix, of course, too. And obviously he's got thoughts, feelings about what happened in Sacramento.
Of course. But, I think it's more so on Domas now.
Yeah, because it's his return trip.
And it was much more on Buddy Hield and Tyrese when they came back to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Tyrese got the great ovation. Crowd loved him, cheered him, and Buddy Hield, not so much.
No, he didn't feel the love.
That's what I'm saying. Not so much.
That might spark a little more motivation tonight. Who knows? Although it's really not a player thing, quite honestly. So, but it will be interesting to see these two teams match up for the second time this season. And for Indiana, boy, without Tyrese, did they sink? They really struggled big time. They were, I believe, 5 games above 500, maybe even 6 when Tyrese went out. They're now 5 games under 500. They've won 1 of their last 10. They've lost their last 4 straight. They're 24 and 29. They're outside the play-in picture right now, 2 games behind the Bulls. So they've got a lot of room to make up now that they've got Tyrese back.
Now, Scott, we always talk about what a difference one player makes.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyrese Halliburton for the Indiana Pacers is a lot. They don't have anybody that's going to step in and replace what he does.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about as far as scoring, facilitating, running the basketball team. That's a lot to, to really replace. And they don't have that guy, and we talked about earlier on in the earlier show, about Rashawn Holmes. Where could he go to where he could really be the old Rashawn Holmes? Right there in Indiana, because him and Tyrese play so well, and Tyrese is a pass-first guard. He's looking to facilitate other people. If just say, for example, if there was to make a trade and Holmes could get there, Holmes would be a hell of a player.
I think he'd be a great fit because him and Tyrese, we know they've worked very well together. There's no doubt about that. Well, that kind of begs the question with the trade deadline coming up. Is there anybody on the Pacers roster that interests you? What would be the return on that?
You know what? I wouldn't even, it might be a situation of picks for me. Looking at the future for the Sacramento Kings, it wouldn't necessarily have to be even to get a player.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Good organizations, what they do, Scott, is that when they figure out that they're not going to be able to use their veterans, but their veterans are still serviceable players in the NBA, they let them move on. It's just not all about trying to get man for man, person for person, value for value. You know what? You came here. You was a great guy. You gave us everything you had, and we're going to be a great organization. And we're going to let you move on. Give us a couple of second-round picks and let him move on.
And I think Rashawn has earned that.
No doubt.
With the team. The challenge, of course, is that the Kings still need a big man outside of Sabonis.
Well, the thing about this, Scott, they're not using him.
Not a lot. That's true.
They still need a big man.
True. And to our point, what we saw in Minnesota, do you just play Trey Lyles as your backup big man?
And that was another wrinkle that you can throw off in there because the Kings are at their best. Let's just call it what it is. The Kings are at their best when they're playing small ball. So Rashawn Holmes doesn't fit into this scenario. So does Alex Lynn. I'm not saying they're bad players, but they just don't fit into this scenario. So seeing that this guy can move on, he can still be, a very viable player with somebody else, let him move on.
Yeah, and speaking of the Pacers, obviously their big news was Miles Turner. They signed him to that huge extension. They gave him $17 million extra this year because they're under the cap. Thank you very much. And then a 2-year, $60 million extension on top of that.
I'm about to say, you know what? I'm going to have to look in the family tree. Turner.
Are you guys related?
Cuz, let me have something, man. Let your big cuz hold something right now, man.
You may need to move in that side house.
Oh, yeah, you paid, bro.
I'm coming to make a visit.
Hit me up, man,
highflyerkings.com. We'll have to go to 23.com and figure all that out. But,
no joke.
Yeah, but anyways, he's gotten paid. He's played well there, nearly 18 points, 8 rebounds, but that still shocked me, the numbers with Miles Turner, because at the beginning of the year, the whole talk was Turner and Hield were going to the Lakers, right? That was going to be the big deal before the season started.
Well, Scooter, that was before they saw the camaraderie and how these guys gel together. And like we talk about, one player can change your whole scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese helps bring those guys together. Now, if they didn't have a point guard like Tyrese, they might still be talking about, okay, we're going to blow this thing up and we're going to let these guys move on because it hasn't worked. It's not working. But when Tyrese came there, they knew what they were getting out of Buddy Hield. They was getting a good shooter, but they were still on they were still on the fence with Turner. So now Tyrese comes in. Turner loves playing with him. Who wouldn't? Anybody in the NBA uniform would love to play with Tyrese. Things are starting to work well. Now they get to rethink things. Okay, well, you know what? We got 2 guys that we can definitely build off of because Turner is playing like an all-star, and Halliburton is an all-star.
Right.
So let's build around those 2.
Yeah, and by the way, Buddy does lead the NBA in most three-pointers this year, coming into the game 192.
Oh, no doubt. And he's going to lead the league because that's all he shoots.
Yeah.
So, if you're shooting, and I don't know Buddy's stat line or anything like that, but I have to guarantee you he's at least shooting 12 3-pointers a night. He's getting up his shots. So, when you shoot that many threes, you better be in the upper echelons of the guys making 3-point shots.
Yeah, well, Buddy's never had a chance or never had a problem putting up the long-range shot. We know that.
I never saw a shot he didn't like.
No.
He's going to let it go. And the crazy thing, Scott, is that if the guy gets hot, and he does, when he gets warm and he sees that ball go in, man, he can give you 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 a night because that's just how hot he gets.
Yeah, no, he can run hot. There's no doubt about that. All right, so that's the Kings challenge tonight. When we come back, we've got to go around the league a little bit because the news breaking today was all about Kyrie Irving wanting to be traded out of Brooklyn. Shocker, before the deadline next week. We'll break that down, that and a lot more. Of course, we'll get back to the Kings conversation as well. This is Game Night right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
All righty, we should be good for YouTube.
Fantastic. All right, Kyle, everybody can see the shirt. So how long have you had it?
It's kind of funny. I got the shirt last week after I finished doing the afternoon show. And so this is really my first chance to wear it since getting it. I got it last Friday, and
I love it.
It's very nice. By the way, High Flyer, just to follow up, Buddy is taking this year 8.8 3-pointers a game, which is the most since his last season in Sacramento.
I know he's shooting it. I know he's letting it go.
Yeah, and he's shooting 45% from the field, 42% from three, 42% being his best run since his second year in Sacramento, actually.
And with him shooting at that high of a clip, keep shooting, buddy.
Yep, keep doing your thing.
Hey, keep shooting, bro.
All right, Kyle, what do we have going on in the chat room?
Patrick was talking about my shirt, but he also brought up a good point, which is this is the first year the NBA is giving out a Clutch Player of the Year award, and it feels like De'Aaron Fox is right at the top of that list.
Patrick, that's a great point because De'Aaron would be right at the top of that list.
Yeah, that would be an auxiliary, or let's say makeup call, if you want to keep it in basketball terms, for him not making the All-Star team.
Yep.
For him to get award, a Clutch Player of the Year award, because, like I said, Scooter, I'm on a downhill slide with this.
No,
bro.
I know it. You came in and you weren't as upset about it as you are now.
And I haven't reached the bottom yet. You know what I mean? I'm still going down.
We're going lower.
That's right. Hey, brakes are burning, everything.
All right. Any poll questions, anything like that, Kyle?
No, I don't have the special access like Nate does to the YouTube, so I can't put poll questions up. But we do have some banter about the possibility of Andre Drummond coming over to the Kings.
I mean, a lot of people are talking about Andre Drummond, who is 29 years of age, kind of would fit in that mold of what a DeMarcus Cousins would do. You're shaking your head, High Flyer. You don't like that. Why not?
Andre doesn't run the type of offense that we need. The Kings have to be up pace. The Kings are going to need a stretch 4, stretch 5. Anybody that comes to this team that's going to sit down that low post and say, give me the basketball, it's going to disrupt what they have going. Spreading the floor is the best way the Kings play. I mean, if you're looking at Andre Drummond, let's keep it real, Scott. If you're looking at Andre Drummond, you might as well go cheap and go get Boogie.
Yeah.
Not
going to happen.
Shouldn't happen.
No.
You could settle on Dwight Howard, maybe.
Oh, you just went all the way over the board.
Dwight Howard's he's still playing in Japan, isn't he?
I believe Taiwan. But yeah, he's still playing and doing a reality television at this point.
Yep.
He Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I ain't mad at him. You know what? Right there, has played his last years in LA, and I go Hollywood too.
All right, we're gonna come back to radio here in just a second. Welcome back into game night right here. Sactown Sports, 11:40, halfway through. We'll take you until 3:30 today. Kings Live pregame at the bottom of the hour. Tip tonight, 4 o'clock. Kings and Pacers. G-Man with the call. Some good conversation in the YouTube chat during the break. You can always join us, and we encourage you to do that on our YouTube page, Sactown 1140. Give us a like as well. We'd appreciate it. Game night is always being brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience how the power of family can help your business office equipment needs today. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. We'll have your Who's on the Floor report coming up in the next segment, but right now we're going around the league. And of course, the big news, Kyrie Irving has asked the Nets for a trade ahead of the deadline. And with everything that's gone on with Kyrie Irving and the Nets, I don't think there's a ton of surprise here about this one. He had asked for a long-term contract extension. The organization and him are way off in terms of what that would look like. He hasn't demanded what teams that he wants to go to, but of course now the Lakers are out there, the Mavericks, the Suns. What in the world is going on? What do you make of it, first of all? What's your take?
Kyrie Irving has been there for a while, and he's looking at what they have and understanding that, you really have to get into his mindset, because if Kyrie Irving really is a competitor and he's really in tune to what's going on in the NBA, what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets, he would want to win a championship. Well, honestly, if you look at what they have, that's not coming.
But let's go back. I just want to ask you about that, because
even with Kevin Durant, him and Kevin Durant and what they have going is not going to get them there.
But to the point when Durant and Irving were together before KD got hurt, that team was balling. I mean, they might have been the best team in the league.
They played good basketball.
Yeah.
No doubt. but I still don't think they have enough to win a championship. Like I said, if he's in tune to winning a championship, that's not going to get it done.
Boy, you might be right. I'm not convinced of that though. I thought the way Brooklyn was playing prior to KD, and he's going to come back at some point, might have been enough.
They were good enough to win basketball games.
Okay,
yes,
but the bigger picture is his contract, right? I mean, that's what this comes down to. He wants the extension.
You know, Kyrie is different. He's a different dude.
Yep.
You know, and he's made a lot of money in this league. So
and he's made a lot of money from the Nets without having played a lot,
right.
too.
So I don't think, you know, it's a situation of dollar signs per se.
Okay.
You know, because he won't be on anybody's street corners holding the sidewalk work for food.
No.
Okay, that won't be Kyrie Irving at all. I think it's more so of he wants to win now, and I honestly think Kyrie Irving has been humbled, because I thought when he won that championship with LeBron James, he felt like this was my team and I did this. You know, even though you got LeBron James with you, I did this. Well, I think he's in a situation to where now he knows in championship there's no I. You got to have a serious team in order to be in that conversation. And you know, a lot of superstars and mega superstars get humbled with that, because they didn't have a championship, and they feel like it's about me. It's me. I did this. Well, you go somewhere else, you think that you can reduplicate that, and you can't. So you figure out, okay, so now instead of me being the whole pie, where do I fit in? And I think that's where Kyrie is at right now.
Okay. Now he is making $37 million this year.
Ooh, say it again.
It's $37 million.
Woo!
He's looking for a 4-year, $198.5 million maximum extension that's available to him until June 30th.
I want the max.
So if Irving's traded, he's eligible to sign a 2-year, $78.6 million extension with the new team until June 30th. So having said all of that, no doubt he wants to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid. So there's no issue with that, none whatsoever. But what's the end game here? Does he want to end up with the Lakers? Are we looking at an impending trade with Westbrook heading to Brooklyn and Kyrie heading out to LA?
I mean, Scooter, you don't have to be a genius to write this story, okay? You have to look at, first of all, the dollar's going to have to match. All right. It's not too many guys you can trade Kyrie Irving for.
No, Westbrook's one of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So to make it work right, if you move Westbrook for Kyrie, you bring Kyrie, reunite him back with LeBron. They keep saying, what does the LA Lakers need? They need more outside shooting. Well, you bring Kyrie Irving and put him and LeBron back together. Now, as far as their personalities, I think both of those guys have been seriously humbled.
Yeah.
Because they understand, as great as LeBron is, he see right now, I don't care what I do out here. I can't hold it by myself.
Right, they're still not winning.
I'm going to need some other help. So when you throw in, just say, you remove Russell Westbrook and you bring in Kyrie Irving with AD.
That's a huge upgrade. And Irving is playing great right now.
He's
too.
playing. I mean, talent-wise, you know how I feel about the kid.
Top 10 in
talent-wise,
the league. I know
he's
you keep
top
saying that.
10 in the league, talent-wise.
Yeah.
So if you put all three of those guys together and they can coincide, that makes the Lakers back relevant. We had a conversation not too long ago. Who was going to be able to go to the Lakers to where they were going to be championship relevant again?
Yep.
I don't think they're going to let this pass up.
Well, the question is, would the Nets make that trade? I mean, obviously they're in a tough situation here with Kyrie wanting out. At the same time, do they want Westbrook back in return?
Here's another situation, Scott. They'd have been through everything with Kyrie Irving, ups, downs, to the side, out the back door. At a certain particular point, they're going to be like,
I've had enough.
Move on.
Yep. And of course, in this whole equation, where's KD with everything too?
Right. And, and here's another crazy thing too, Scott. As much as they'd have been up and down, sideways, out the back with Kyrie, you still have Ben Simmons, who's the only person that's been worse than Kyrie.
Yes.
Sitting on your bench.
No doubt. And then if you put Westbrook and Simmons together, I mean, you talk about non-shooting on a team.
None. But what that does is, Scott, and I think that it might not be a bad move for Brooklyn, because what that do is that it makes Russell a volume player again.
That's just guarantee you that KD's not going to be there, though.
Well, you're not winning with KD anyway. So at this particular point, you're going to have to really cut your losses. KD going to jet out anyway.
Yeah.
So, you never know. You take a swing at it because he can't leave this year. So he's going to play with Russell Westbrook again. And if you can get Russell Westbrook to play back at how he usually plays and sprinkle in some Ben, you're good. Because Ben's not wanting to shoot the ball. Russ got to be a volume guy.
As much as the Lakers want to win, and they do, and there's obviously every team wants to win. It's kind of a dumb statement, but would you invest in a max contract with Kyrie Irving?
I would give him the 2 years, no doubt, because of the talent the young man has, and he's not in the age bracket of LeBron. He's definitely in the age bracket to where you could say, you know what, if we want to get back to championship contending, you bring Kyrie Irving in, right? And let's say they strike gold and they do get a chance to get back to the dance with Kyrie Irving. I think all is fixed. All is fixed right there. You have 2 years with him, and you still have LeBron, and you still have AD. You still have firepower.
If that deal came down, hypothetically, again, we're less than a week from the deadline, but it's next Thursday. If the Lakers somehow were able to pull off a deal and get Kyrie, do they, as crazy as it sounds, do they become the favorites in the West overnight?
They would be the Cinderella story. And I guess the Cinderella story probably would be the favorites if they can get those guys to play. The thing about it is that Rob Pelinka definitely going to have to get LeBron and Kyrie in a room together. It's going to all be contingent on how LeBron feels. LeBron, are you cool with this? And has LeBron got to the point in his career to where he's like, you know what? I'm cool with anybody that's going to help me get there.
Well, it will be interesting, but what a mess in Brooklyn. And if you're the Nets, you've put all that money in Kyrie, and it's come down to this right now. I mean, just their whole vision of what they were trying to put together 2-3 years ago.
I mean, Scooter, we've seen worse in Philly.
I hear you.
We've seen worse in Philly. Think about it. At least Kyrie Irving is still on the floor and still playing great basketball.
He is doing that.
Ben Simmons wasn't even playing. What a debacle that was.
That was horrible. You're right. All right, let's look at the games around the league before we focus back in on Kings and Pacers. It's a busy Friday night in the association. It's the Hornets at the Pistons. Of course, Detroit was unable to get out of Dallas. Their last game was postponed with all those terrible ice storms going on. Trailblazers and the Wizards. Washington right now is playing some really good basketball. Suns and Celtics, that's the marquee game tonight. That's in Boston. Raptors and Rockets. Oh, the one thing I forgot to bring up about the Eastern Conference, of course, and this is the biggest controversy in your mind, I'm sure, Pascal Siakam did not make the team.
Wow. Another guy that's playing great basketball, but I honestly don't think that he gets the recognition that he should. And
he's been an all-star before.
Yeah, being in Toronto, I don't think he gets the recognition that he should get. I'm pretty sure I can go down that Eastern roster.
Let me read the roster one more time.
Okay.
Bam Adebayo. Should he have been on over Bam?
No.
Okay. Jaylen Brown.
No.
DeMar DeRozan.
No.
Joel Embiid. No.
No.
Tyrese.
No.
Drew Holiday.
Questionable.
Okay. I think that's fair. Yep. And with Middleton out, Holiday's done a great job with Milwaukee. And then Julius Randle.
Ooh. Once again, questionable.
Okay.
Because you have to look at, their numbers and how they play and all that other good stuff.
But to the point, it wasn't a snub like with De'Aaron.
No, not at all.
All right. Magic and Timberwolves tonight. We've got the Sixers and the Spurs, Hawks and the Jazz. That's the night in the NBA. When we come back, we'll continue to preview Kings and Pacers. We'll break things down. We'll give you the Who's on the Floor report as well. Game night brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you have a heart to serve, especially children in need in our community, this could be a great way to do it. Become an adult mentor to a kid who needs one in our area. For more information, 916-646-9300 or visit bbbs-sac.org to learn more. More of Game Night coming up next right here. Sactown Sports 1140.
All righty, we are clear.
All right. What do we got going on?
It looks like banter about Kyrie Irving is taking up most of the YouTube comment section, right. And we have. I don't want to spoil the Who's on the Floor report, but they're also talking about De'Aaron not being there tonight.
That's a huge one. So what's the take in the chat? Kings gonna win without De'Aaron?
Well, I can't put up the poll to confirm it, but it seems the vibe is that people are feeling good, especially because Indiana's coming off this long losing streak.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, it's a big loss, Henry, without De'Aaron. Kings have shown they can overcome it, but they are 1-2 without De'Aaron this year. To the point.
Yeah. The way I look at this game is a twofer. Okay, we know Sabonis is coming back. He's going to be emotional. So let's hope we get a good emotion out of Sabonis. Number 2, no De'Aaron Fox. Number 3, Indiana has been struggling. But the reason that they've been struggling, Tyrese Halliburton has been out of the lineup. Well, guess what? Tyrese is back. And when Tyrese was in the lineup, Indiana was a totally different ball club. So that scares me, and it scares me big time when Indiana gets their main guy back. Sacramento has their main guy out.
Yep, that's a problem. And Tyrese, according to accounts, is expected to play tonight. There was some question as to whether he would play on a back-to-back just coming back, but it looks like he will be available tonight.
Well, think about it, Scott. He played last game, right?
Yep.
And your old team is coming in to your new home for the first time.
Yep.
You got
to play.
You just been named to the All-Star team.
You're playing.
The only way you wouldn't play is it would have to be broke and locked up outside in the shed somewhere.
Yes.
So is he going to go? No doubt.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Absolutely. He is going to go there. And, of course, we'll have some keys coming up when we get back to the radio side in just a couple of minutes. What else we got out there in the chat?
Patrick, different Patrick's wanted to shout out the High Flyer, one of his favorite players from back in the day. And
Nice.
Also brought up the fact, the other Patrick brought up the fact that last year we won in Indiana without Fox and Sabonis playing. So potentially the Davion Mitchell versus Tyrese Halliburton matchup, something to watch.
I like that. That's a good thought.
Okay.
We forget about it. It's a chance for Davion to step up tonight, right?
True. But I look at this situation as neither one of these teams were the exact same team that they were last year. These teams are two total different teams.
Yeah. True. And a new coach with Rick Carlisle as well.
Right. And a new coach was us.
That's true, too.
That's what I'm saying. Two total different teams.
You are absolutely right about that. A nice gesture going on in Indiana as well. They have welcome back signs for not only Sabonis, I'll save you who all they are when we come back to the radio side here. Wrapping things up on game night on a Friday afternoon right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Hopefully the weekend getting started a little early. They're going to have a good one here. And of course, hopefully it starts with the Kings victory in Indiana. 4th game of the 7-game road trip, the longest road trip of the season. Kings currently 2-1 on this stretch. They've got New Orleans on Sunday, back-to-back Monday in Houston, and then a second game in Houston on Wednesday. All right, let's get to the Who's on the Floor report for tonight. It's brought to you by Gold River Floors. For the Kings, of course, no De'Aaron Fox, out for personal reasons. He will not be in Indiana, so the Kings certainly will be without one of their top 2 players for this one. Davion Mitchell will get the start for Sacramento. As for Indiana, Tyrese was listed as questionable a few hours ago, but according to Jason Anderson with the Sacramento Bee, it sounds like Tyrese will be available tonight against the Kings, and that makes sense. You would think he would be in this one with Sacramento and him coming back last night and all of that. Also, Daniel Tice will be available for the Pacers. And as we were talking about in the YouTube chat during the break, Tyrese isn't going to miss this game.
At all. At all. You know, if Tyrese, I'm pretty sure if he's looking at the schedule, in which all players do, and he's saying, okay, I can get one game before Sacramento comes to town. Let me brush this dust off and be ready for Sac. But if it would have came down to, okay, I can play one of these 2 games, which one of these 2 games I'm going to suit up for, Tyrese would have sat out last game to play this game.
I think so, too. They lost at the buzzer last night to the Lakers. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter, could not hold on to win that game. So they're coming in a little angry, but they are also on a back-to-back. Of course, the Kings had yesterday off after winning in San Antonio on Wednesday. That is your Who's on the Floor report, brought to you by Gold River Floors. Let the pros at Gold River Floors assist you with all your flooring needs. 3 locations to serve you. Sacramento Flooring off Power Inn Road in Sacramento, Gold River Carpet One off Highway 50 in Rancho Cordova, and Gold River Flooring America off East Bidwell in Folsom. Chris Biederman, also with the B, tweeted out, really cool thing. Classy move by the Pacers. They're welcoming back all the Kings' former players who had ties to Indiana. So, of course, we know about Sabonis, but we forgot Trey Lyles.
Right.
Also had some Indiana connections.
Mm-hmm.
Leandro Barbosa on the staff with the Kings, and Mike Brown also spent some time with the Indiana Pacers. So they all have these cool welcome back signs inside the arena.
You know what?
That's class.
Straight class, Scott. You talk about an organization that's being real classy and, you know, showing their fans how to have class about returning players. You know, I understand Sabonis is not Reggie Miller coming back. You know, Sabonis is not Mark Jackson coming back, some of their most beloved players. But he is a very vital player about what he did there in Indiana. So to welcome him back with open arms, man, that's just big time class, if you ask me.
I agree. We'll see how the fans react to it. Part of the story, obviously, Tyrese and De'Aaron won't be matched up, but Davian and Tyrese will.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be interesting. A chance for Davian to step up, and you know his motivation might be a little bit higher as well.
And if you have to say, you know, throw the one wrinkle in there, Scott, about Davion probably knowing Tyrese's game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably knowing his, you know, in his intricacies or some of his go-to moves, because you practiced with this dude every day last year.
Yep.
You know, you were on the floor with him. You had to guard him. He was inside the family. That's like when I had to play against some of my ex-teammates. I know what you like to do.
Yep.
You know, I know your go-to move, and I know your auxiliary move. I know you like the back of my hand. So if it's one guy that can probably do anything or stay in front of or be able to, you know, really contest Tyrese, it would be Davion.
Yeah. So obviously that'll be a fun matchup to watch. Obviously we talked about the 2 new coaches too, Rick Carlisle, and he's done a nice job in Indiana.
Rick is a probably will be a Hall of Fame coach. You know, for what he's done in this league, everywhere Rick Carlisle has been, he's had success. You know, so it ain't even a question of can he coach in this league or is he going to have success in this league? Yes, he is. You know, I like what he does. And the same with Mike Brown. Mike Brown's, you know, pedigree, bro, is just through the roof.
Yeah. And
has been very successful. You know, have struggled a little bit as a head coach, but still his overall body of work in the NBA, man, is extraordinary.
And no question right now, probably the lead candidate for Coach of the Year. And Carlisle, if maybe Tyrese hadn't gotten injured, we'd be in the conversation with him as well, the way the Pacers were playing. So bottom line is both teams, up and coming teams. This should be a lot of fun tonight. Any other things you're looking for tonight as we wrap things up?
I really hope the Kings come out with the right mindset. You know, understanding that it's a lot going on in the NBA. It's a lot going on with them and their own team and organization. You know, Sabonis coming back, De'Aaron not being out, the all-star picks, all of these things, all of these distractions can be a hindrance to your game when you're on the road. So I hope that, Coach Mike Brown and his coaching staff still galvanize these guys and bring them together and say, hey, look, you know what? We still have a task at hand. So don't let all this outside stuff influence what happens here tonight.
Should be fun tonight. Henry, it's always great working with you. Have a great call tonight.
Yes, sir.
That's going to do it for game night. Coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross in for that. Tip tonight, 4 o'clock, G-Man with the call. Kings basketball all afternoon and evening long right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Have a great weekend.